Well, with each hour, President Biden's political future is called more into question. Biden-Harris campaign co-chair and longtime close friend of the president, Chris Coons, revealing that there isn't really that much support for 4 more years of Joe Biden.
I respect those who have concerns because the stakes are so high. But when we gather for our convention next month in Chicago, Wolf, I'm confident that we will nominate the best candidate to take on and defeat Donald Trump. For me, that's Joe Biden. For some of my colleagues, they have different views.
Leaving some room there. And during a speech at the Aspen Institute, Coons also admitted that President Biden is currently assessing the situation of his candidacy.
I think our president is weighing what he should weigh, which is who is the best candidate to win in November and to carry forward the Democratic Party's values and priorities in this campaign.
That's the Biden-Harris campaign co-chair admitting the candidate is weighing all of this. And Biden's other campaign co-chair and his most powerful ally, South Carolina Congressman Jim Clyburn, suggested a few weeks ago the idea of a mini primary.
Well, I think we're going to have a mini primary leading into the convention. You can actually fashion the process that's already in place to make it a mini primary, and I would support that, absolutely. We can't close that down and wish to open up everything for the general election.
Now, Clyburn later came out and it emphasized that he unequivocally supports Joe Biden, but those words, nonetheless, still interesting. But if President Biden exits, what comes next? All signs point toward a mini primary. What would that look like? The ground rules have not been fully fleshed out, but it could involve a campaign blitz between Biden replacement hopefuls in a series of town halls, public forums, debates, and other events on a fast-track schedule. And that process has reportedly been endorsed by Nancy Pelosi behind the scenes. Politico reporting, quote, in a meeting with fellow California Democrats last week, former Speaker Nancy Pelosi stressed the need for an open process to choose the party's next nominee if President Joe Biden steps aside, in an effort to avoid the appearance of a Kamala Harris coronation. Well, that could get messy, but allies of Vice President Kamala Harris are getting ready, laying the groundwork for her own run in case the mini primary turns into a knife fight. Earlier today, she held a call with Democrat mega donors like LinkedIn founder Reid Hoffman. And a source listening in told Semaphore that the call, quote, centered around ending the infighting and pivoting to winning. Well, Democratic Congressman Jared Moskowitz joins me now. Congressman Moskowitz, it's great to have you. You know, 6 days ago, I was listening to an interview you did, and you emphasized your support for President Biden, but you also emphasized your support for winning and keeping, taking back the House, keeping the Senate, keeping the presidency. But since all of that, and I want to scroll this, there have been 34 Democrats, Senate and House, who have come forward calling for Biden to step aside. So I want to know what you're thinking today.
Well, thanks, Kayleigh. Thanks for having me. Yeah, isn't this whole thing about winning? I mean, being right feels great, but if you don't win, it's irrelevant. And so, look, I think Democrats are trying to figure out how to win, right? And if you look at the polling, obviously the current path at the moment doesn't seem like we're winning. If you look at all the state polling, let's just be honest, right? I mean, if we believe the polls right now, if you look at the blue wall and you look at other states, it doesn't look great. And so, look, if you look at the current situation with the Biden campaign, when getting COVID is the best thing to happen to you in the last 3 weeks, then obviously it's not good. And so I'm happy the president is taking that reflection and trying to figure out if there's a path for him or whether there's a path for Kamala, because really that is the decision. This open primary thing might be the method, but ultimately this will go to the vice president, in my opinion, if the president decides there's no path for him.
Okay, so it would ultimately go to the vice president. I think a lot of serious commentators suggest that as well. But Congressman, I mean, what's your opinion? Would you join your 34 colleagues? Where do you stand on your personal views as a sitting member of Congress?
Yeah, look, I'm not calling for the president to get out of the race. He's got to make this decision himself. Look, there are 3 races going on, Kayleigh, right? Obviously, there's the race for the presidency that we're all focused on. And Democrats think that's the most important thing, and Republicans think that's the most important thing. But there's 2 other races going on, one for the House and one for the Senate. And both of those are up for grabs. And so Democrats, I think, need to look at this holistically. We obviously want to defeat Donald Trump. But at the same time, if the country decides to give Donald Trump the wheel, we'd like to also see him get some breaks. And that's either winning the House or winning the Senate.
You know,
Okay, guys, so I'm going to actually be super surprised if Biden doesn't bow out. But what we're looking at right now on the political stage is absolutely unprecedented. What would even a mini primary look like? Well, we're probably going to find out, guys, because Biden looks like he's going to bow out at this point. Now, I'm hoping Biden doesn't bow out, and the reason is he's weak. Trump would have an easy win against Biden. Now, it's probably too late for anyone else to build up any kind of momentum to beat Trump. But no one can predict this, absolutely, because it's never happened. And that's what's so important to realize, is that you can't make predictions on unprecedented events. But one thing is for sure, and that is that the Democrats are fractured. They're weak. They're confused. And they're toxic. But Republicans, on the other hand, are unified, strong, focused. They're energetic. This is the Republican Party I've always wanted to see. In fact, this is a flip from what the parties looked like when Obama was running for president. The Democratic Party was the ideal face, it was unified, it was strong, they were focused, and the Republicans were fractured all over the place. Well, the tables have turned, and now the Republican Party is looking strong and focused. I will be so surprised if Trump does not win in November. But anyway, guys, that's it for this stream. I'm going to make a new stream real quick, new video on the Hannity show, which is coming up very quickly. But leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think about all this that's going on right now at absolutely unprecedented times. If you don't mind, leave a like, hit that thumbs up button. It helps out the channel. Subscribe for more streams and videos like this. I'm making them all day. Anyway, guys, hope you all have an awesome, and maybe I'll see you in